We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
What the hell is that?
Okay.
That's all I got.
Let's try to do it real quick, dude.
Huh?
Oh, no, nothing. Let's go. I'm ready.
Well, yeah.
Got her down.
Start to the show is about as good as the start to the game we had the other day. I mean, oh, God. I don't even know what to say about that game.
There's nothing to really say about it. I hope they don't even watch tape on it, honestly. Don't even watch tape on it. Just like Chuck Foreman said, don't why even watch the tape? Everybody on the team, everybody in the state knows what happened on Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, there's absolutely nothing to take from that game other than you got whitewashed. But it was like I was watching Mackie and Judd this afternoon in Purple Daily, and they do, when they after their losses, they have the silver linings or whatever it was. And when it came to
there's none.
When they came to Judd, he said, when he holds up this paper, he said, "This is the stat sheet that the Vikings send out to the media people." And he went, "There are no silver linings in this game," and threw the paper.
Well, you know what, though? Joseph was 100% on field goals.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll hit some of the low points of the Dallas game here quick, and then we'll move on and wash our hands of this.
I think everybody, the players, the coaches, the owners, the fans, we all just need to wash our hands and forget about this one as soon as possible. And hopefully
the only ones that want to dwell on this is ESAT Nation.
Right. Yep. It's the NFL. You lose games. It just happens.
There was a thing I saw today. I don't remember who posted it, but in the last 10 years.
Oh, it was Josh Hall.
Yeah, Josh Hall. Our buddy Josh Hall posted it in the Gallerhorn group. There's been 5 teams in the last 10, 12 years, whatever it's been.
5 years since the NFL merger. Or 5 teams since the NFL merger, but 3 in the last 12 years.
I thought it was like 5 since 2000.
Well, whatever. Either way.
Regardless, there is a precedent set that
there you go. That's the best way to go about it.
That there have been teams that have been blown out at home by 30 points or more and have still gone on to win the Super Bowl in that year. So, I mean, look at the Rams last year. They didn't win a single game the month of November.
It's all about continuing to grow as a team.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. We know who we are. This team knows who it is. This team knows that it's better than what you've seen on Sunday, and we're gonna be fine.
Yeah, just file this one back in the filing cabinet, and should we meet Dallas again down the road, make sure we don't have a repeat of it.
I just the media is gonna fuel this fire for this team. Because this is what they were waiting for. This is what a lot of people in the media were just waiting for, was this game to happen. I'm not going to lie. Before the season started, Dallas was one of those teams that really kind of, from a personal point of view, that defense alone is what scared me.
Yeah.
And it showed why. I just found out, or not just found out, but we all just seen why on Sunday.
Yeah.
The Dallas defense, when it's going on full steam, how deadly it can be.
Well, and we talked about this prior to the season and several times up to this point. In this 4-game stretch we're running into now, we figured if we could get out of there at 500, we were doing pretty good. And right now we are at 500. We beat Buffalo, lost to Dallas.
And that emotional win over Buffalo had something to do with this.
I think it had a lot to do with it.
It's not an excuse,
No, but
with the new management, the new coaching staff, a new philosophy, you're gonna have bumps in the road.
right. And we talked about this on the show last week, coming off, and that was one of the concerns I know I brought up, coming off that emotional high of that game, one of the best games ever played. There's going to be a letdown. We needed to control the letdown and we didn't do it.
There you go. An emotional hangover is basically what it is.
Oh, absolutely.
And the fact that the previous game also went into overtime, no excuses, but it went into overtime. And like I said last week, it was a roller coaster of emotion as a fan. Could you even imagine being a player on the team?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and then coming into Dallas and then having this happen. So let's answer the call starting on Thursday night.
Yeah. And that's going to be the key. This game means nothing if the team comes out, responds, and gets back to doing what we've been doing the previous 7 games prior to Sunday. We pretty much knew we weren't going to win every game for the rest of the season.
You hope in one hand and you can shit in the other, and you see which one fills up faster. That's the old saying. Of course, I want to win every single game. Shit like this happens. To some, like we said 5 minutes ago, they've had 5 teams in the last X years that have lost games by 30 plus points that have went on to win the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Shit like this does happen.
I will take a loss like we had on Sunday during the regular season anytime if it means we don't have that kind of a meltdown, whatever you want to call it, in the postseason.
Exactly. That's why you play these regular season games.
Mm-hmm.
So
all right. Well, we'll run through a few things from that game. We're not going to dive into it too deep because there's really no need to do so. But probably the biggest news coming out of there, Christian Darrisaw left the game early with his second concussion in as many weeks. He is
up until his point of leaving the game too, though he was not having a good game. The worst game of his professional career so far.
Well, I think he played like 8 snaps before he got hurt, but
he got burnt on a lot. He got burnt on at least 3 of those snaps.
Yeah, well, Micah Parsons was killing everybody out there.
He's a beast. Parsons is an animal.
Yeah, but now the problem with Darrisaw is he's already been ruled out for Thursday, but 2 concussions in 2 weeks. We're treading into Tua territory here. So, like I said, when I was watching,
that mini bye is a blessing in disguise.
It is.
It is going to be a blessing in disguise.
But I know, again, listening to Zulgad earlier today, he said he wouldn't be surprised if Darrisaw misses 2-3 weeks. I mean, Tua missed 3. Now, I don't know if Darrisaw's concussions were severe as Tua's were, but
I think a concussion. He's already been ruled out for Thursday.
Right.
So I think he misses Thursday, but there's definitely a chance that I think he could be back for the Jets game.
Maybe.
It's kind of wait and see type of thing. And we're recording on a Monday night, so we'll see, as we get closer to that point.
Right. Then, of course, Darrisaw's replacement, Blake Brandel, wasn't even a speed bump at the feet of Micah Parsons for most of the game. Really wasn't fair to Brandel, but
no,
here again, we need to be having somebody who's more capable of stepping in than Brandel is to do that.
Coaching could have went a long way there too, as far as adjusting and then getting Brandel a little bit of a help over there, especially if Parsons is whooping that ass.
Well, yeah,
no matter who's in there.
we should have been having, Munt or somebody over there, or bring in CJ Ham, somebody to help chip him a little bit more.
Shit, if you got to, Munt and a back on your pass plays.
But since you brought that up, this is one of the, I guess, first real legit criticisms I've had of what O'Connell has done most of the year, is they didn't switch things up on offense. They kept doing them 5 and 7 step drops all game long. And I mean, it led.
Kirk was getting teed off on.
Yeah. Well, again, nice segue into Kirk. He was next on my list here. Kirk ended up 12 of 23 for only 105 yards. He was sacked 7 times. That's the most in his career.
Yeah, it was ugly.
Well, and even the more telling stat, he was pressured on 63% of his dropbacks.
Yeah, I don't want to hear
almost 2/3 of his dropbacks.
Yeah, I don't want to hear any Kirk haters come out and say it was all Kirk this game that lost us the game. No, it was not.
No, it was the entire team. It wasn't any one player, any one coach. It was everybody.
Yeah.
But then also
collective loss for sure.
Also with the Kirk, one last thing on Kirk. Unfortunately, his 39 game streak with at least one touchdown pass is now over.
Damn.
Yeah. Receiving, again, not much there, because I know Jefferson made a comment in a press conference. I think it was, I don't know if it was after the game on Sunday or if it was earlier today, that it was so bad. A lot of times the receivers were coming out of their breaks and Kirk was already on, either running for his life or on the ground.
Yeah.
So, Jefferson had 3 catches for 33 yards, I think it was. Hawkinson led the team in catches, but he had 2 critical drops down at the goal line on that open
very
drive.
Uncharacteristic. And you got these people that don't know a lot about Hawkinson pitching. Shit happens.
Yeah.
Hawkinson's already proven himself
absolutely
in a passing game.
And if he
it
was
happens.
If he was the only guy that fucked up during that game, we'd have been in good shape. But there wasn't a single person that didn't in that game, coaching included.
Everybody made mistakes that game. Mm-hmm. Everybody from the bottom to the top.
Yep.
The one's not on the field too.
Defense, again, I don't know what the hell Donatel, or as his new nickname, Donashell, had going on there. But of course, we gave up 40 points, 458 yards. They were 12 of 17 on third down conversions. And then Dallas also had the ball for 37 minutes and 24 seconds out of a 60-minute game.
Did they even punt once that game?
Yeah, they punted twice, I think.
Okay.
But they had 32 possessions, so law of averages will get you one there. And here again, the one guy on offense that we preached on this, and then last week, frickin' Tony Pollard. That guy killed us.
Yeah, he's killing everybody right now. Even Zeke killed us, and that's fucking embarrassing.
Zeke didn't do a whole lot. He had 15 carries, but he only had 42 yards off it. But he did have 2
Those
touchdowns.
carries that he did have were meaningful carries, though.
Yeah, but
short yarders and touchdown scorers.
Pollard had 80 yards on the ground and then 6 receptions for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That was a beautiful catch that he made, that Dak just dropped into his hands there and went for a touchdown. That was beautiful. But obviously you don't want that shit happening against the team, but I got to give them a hats off to that on that play.
But our linebackers covering those stuff, and it looked like they had a freaking boat anchor tied to their ass.
Yeah. Like we've been saying today, it was all, there was no real The bright spots, I'm garbled here, man. The bright spots were very few that game, if any.
You couldn't light a Tupperware container with the bright spots in that game.
Exactly. I'm just being fucking Minnesota nice, man.
I know you're trying to be nice, but hey, we don't sugarcoat crap around here.
I know.
Everybody on that team played like ass. Everybody on that team coached like ass. I mean, it's pretty bad when the game of the week gets turned off halfway through the third quarter and switched to another game.
They didn't even warn anybody that it's
I just flipped the switch and all of a sudden you got, who was it? Pittsburgh or Cincinnati?
Pittsburgh and fucking, who they play, the Bengals?
Yeah, it's Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, I think it was, yeah. But one more stat line on this game, and then we're going to move off of because I'm already getting sick to my stomach. The Vikings are the first team first 8-2 team in NFL history to have a negative point differential. We are now -2 in point differential.
That's something.
Well, when you give up 37 points or 37-point spread in one game,
and you only score 3.
Yeah. Well, that's just said it kind of skews the numbers a little bit when you've got -37 in one game.
If the haters weren't talking before, they're talking now.
Oh, absolutely. Like we mentioned, that ESAT Nation, like coined by our buddies Drew and Ted over at Vikings Report, if the everything sucks all the time crowd, they were just hiding in the bushes waiting for a game like this.
Oh yeah. Yep. They were waiting for I told you so game.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, I'm not just saying fans. This is media in general has been waiting for this game to happen.
Yep. See, we told you. They're frauds. You
know what? I get so sick of these. Like, it's okay to be critical of your team, but you know what? Love your team as well. It's like a family relationship. You want to coddle them when they're good, and you want to let them know when they're bad.
Mm-hmm.
What really bothers me is when you got these people that are so extreme. They're like, our team sucks. I quit. I'm done watching this team. Our team sucks. And then it's just bullshit.
Then quit. This is not an airline. You don't need to announce your departure. We don't need you.
But people got to realize too that it's okay to be critical, and the best people in your life are give you factual credit. They're good at telling you what you can do good and good at telling you what you can't do.
Mm-hmm.
And you need that.
Yeah. Like I said, I would rather have somebody tell me the truth than, as the old phrase goes,
be full of bullshit air.
Having them pissed on your back and tell you it's raining.
There you go. It's good. See, this is why we have a show together, so you can kind of iron it out for me a little bit.
Exactly. It's a therapy session this week, I guess. But anyway, we're going to put that game, wash our hands of it, throw it in the garbage disposal, grind it up, throw it away.
We've already spent too much time talking about this game.
We did. We talked about doing an award, or, our normal award segment this week. Lance and I came to a consensus already. Nobody gets a badass award out of a game like that, and the entire team is getting the Red Foreman Award. So here's that, and we move on. So with that, we'll get to a little bit better, lighter note. Going to roll into another one of our classic beer commercials. So head on over to the fridge, grab yourself a cold one if you have any left after that game. Crack it open, check this out. We'll be back in a minute.
I had my own way of tackling. I used to grab the whole backfield. Then I threw guys out until I found the one with the ball. When I started drinking beer, I did the same thing. And this is the one I'm holding on to. Light beer from Miller. It has a third less calories than the regular beer. It's less filling, and it tastes terrific, too. I also love the easy opening can.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
When you shoot a lot of pool and bars, you want to stay fast and loose, and you don't want to get filled up. That's why I drink light beer from Miller. It's got a third less calories than their regular beer, and it's less filling. Plus, the taste is great. And even though a lot of people don't think pool is strenuous, let me tell you something. You can work up a real good thirst, even when you're just showing off.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
All right.
It's probably the ugliest loss I've ever seen.
It's the second worst loss in franchise history, I believe.
Wow. Okay. I was going to say, this is probably the ugliest loss I've seen in the last 10 years that we've had. And that's, with Mike Zimmer and now KOC.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
All right. So we'll roll back in here. We'll do the preview. We'll do your best, and we'll call it.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good to me. That sounds
Ready?
about right.
All right. Coming back. 3, 2. All right. We are back. And
Belichick would say, Rhino, we're on to next week. We're on to the next one.
Yeah.
We're on to New England.
Which, coincidentally enough, is the evil empire and Darth Hoodie himself. Coming to US Bank Stadium Thanksgiving night to take on the Minnesota Vikings.
It's time to quell the flames.
This needs to be a get right game on a short week.
Bingo. Get right. Get it right. Get it tight.
Now, if things don't get any easier for us, of course, as we mentioned earlier, Darisaw will not play this week. And of course, you've got Mr. Judon over there on the defensive side of things.
Yeah, he's having a hell of a season.
Well, New England's defense in general is the reason why their record is what it is. Their offense, I mean, of course, I'm not going to say their offense is garbage, because the minute I do that, they're going to go out and throw up 30-some points on us. But, I mean, Mac Jones really doesn't scare anybody. Behind him, you got Bailey Zappi, who's basically Mac Jones that can move around a little bit more. They do have a decent couple of running backs, Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris. Their wide receivers are kind of the Walmart.
It's been a while since they've had a good group of receivers there in New England.
Mm-hmm. Their wide receivers are basically kind of the
hot and cold.
The $5 movie bin at Walmart.
They run hot and cold for sure.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers has his times. Devontae Parker, who had a few good years or decent years in Miami, but never really panned out to what he was expected to be. Kendrick Bourne, and then they also have Nelson Aguilar over there, who, when he was with Philly, couldn't catch a cold.
It's like all these guys is used.
Yeah, it's
bargain bin receivers.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, the $5 movie bin at Walmart. But yeah, their defense is legit.
I don't see nothing wrong with a little bump and grind.
But now we were talking about, our offensive line banged up. Of course, we forgot to mention Ezra Cleveland missed a good portion of that game last week or on Sunday. Also, have not heard his status yet here.
I don't know. I seen him go down and point at his back.
Yeah. So I don't know for sure what's going on there. But I guess if either way, I would think we're probably going to see Chris Reed this week be active for the first time all year, and probably Vidarian Lowe as well. I'm guessing we're going to have to. And maybe Vidarian Lowe can have a better showing than what Brandel has been.
Or you just put him out there as an extra blocker.
Yeah, something. But New England also dealing with some offensive line woes. 3 of their starting offensive linemen, as of today, were officially questionable. Their left tackle, Trent Brown, left guard Isaiah Wynn and their center David Andrews were all questionable. I think Trent Brown might have even been doubtful. So, but yeah, then rolling over to their defense is legit. They're one of the top pass rushing defenses in the league.
Well, we should, you know what? We should be ready for this defense. I mean, the last two that we've faced have been legit defenses.
Mm-hmm.
And one we happened to walk away with a win, and one we got spanked.
Yeah.
So let's just hope we can walk out on this one with
Yeah. But I mean, we mentioned Judon. They've also got Jennings there at linebacker. He's pretty good. And their back end is pretty decent too. I mean, they got Jalen Mills and Devin McCourty, both pretty good players. But anyway, we'll roll over here to the tail of the tape and kind of look and see how the two squads match up this week. On offensive side of things, yards per game, the Vikings are 18th. Patriots are 25th. Passing yards per game, Minnesota is 10th. New England is 23rd. Damn it. Rushing yards per
ghost
game.
in your house, dude?
Ghost in my throat, I think.
Ghost in your throat.
Goddamn hot or warm or cold. Now it's warming back up and cold. I probably
You
get
got a ghost
sick.
up in there, man.
I have something. Wrong holiday though. That was last month.
Right.
Rushing yards per game though, the Vikings are 24th. New England is 17th. Points per game, Vikings are 13th and New England is 20th. So they don't put up a whole lot of points.
Well, yeah, they fucking just had the game. It was 3-3 until the last 6 minutes of the game.
Yeah, they won it on a walk-off punt return. Yeah. Rolling over to the tail of the tape on the defensive side of things, here's where the numbers skew severely in New England's favor. Yards per game, New England is 4th. We are 29th. Of course, we just gave up 793 yards to Dallas last week, didn't we?
Yeah, we got to bring that up. We got to bring that number up into the teens. Like even 19th, I'd be happy with.
Yeah,
but ain't gonna happen though. I don't think.
Donatel's bend but don't break defense is starting to crack pretty badly, and it broke into like 1,000 pieces last week.
It did, yeah, against Dallas for sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's had its moments, but yeah, I don't know.
Passing yards per game, New England again 4th. The Vikings are 31st in pass yards.
What?
No, all right. I know that sounds bad.
Yeah.
We are back to Mike Zimmer numbers. Rushing yards per game, Patriots are 13th. Vikings are 18th. Points per game, Patriots are 2nd, and we are 19th. Sacks, New England again is 2nd in the league with 36 sacks. We are 16 with 26. About the only spot where the Vikings have a clear advantage in statistical stuff, especially from the defense type side of things. The turnover differential, Minnesota is 4th in the league at a +7. New England is 18th at even.
Okay.
So
that's what I figured was coming too with the turnover ratio. Opportunistic up until last weekend.
Yeah, and when we don't, and that's the thing, when we don't get those opportunistic turnovers and stuff like that, then that bend but don't break defense tends to have more holes in it than a slice of cheese from our buddies over to the east over there.
And you know what? Not to go back to the Dallas game, but, and I'm going to keep this short and sweet, obviously. When you start the game with a strip sack,
Yeah, 30
it's never a
seconds into
good
the
thing.
game.
Any sort of turnover to start the game, first play of the game, whatever it might be. We've been on the other side of that too. And you know what? We won those games.
Mhm.
So yeah, whenever you start a game with a turnover, that's just like a bad omen.
Yeah. And I think we might have even discussed that when the game started. It's like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
So anyway, as far as this game, what do you want to see? What do you think?
I want to see, I want to come away with from this game with a win, obviously. I don't care how we win. I just want to come away with a win, get back into the grind. The best medicine is obviously winning the game, for this team right now and for the fans. Like I said, the ones that are freaking out. I need to see some competent football, again, and do what it takes to give Kirk that time to get, these receivers to make it through their first progression of the route. And I want to get a win.
Mm-hmm. And that's the biggest thing, when you're looking at the grand scheme of things. The game last week or on Sunday doesn't matter unless it snowballs into something else. If we need to come back, we need to come back out and reset. Sometimes a good old fashioned ass whooping is just what the team needs to recenter himself. Were they starting to believe the hype a little bit? Were they this, maybe, emotional hangover from the Buffalo game?
I'd rather play the wait and see.
Right. But it's how this team responds on Thursday is going to tell us about what this team actually is.
Right.
I'm fully confident this team is not the team that just got their asses handed to them 40.
I agree. Up until that point on Sunday, we had been able to hang with the majority of teams that we played.
Yeah.
And win.
Right. And I mean, hopefully we can just chalk this up to every team is going to have an absolute stinker once in a while. Vikings are notorious for having at least one of those every year. Hopefully this was the one we get it out of the way now, like I mentioned before, so it doesn't happen to us,
right.
at later on or in the postseason.
The biggest thing is to never let that happen again.
Right.
To never have to feel that.
Just remember how
on that.
Just remember the taste that was in your mouth at the end of that game.
There you go.
Don't
want to feel that way ever again. Don't let it ever happen again. What happened, but move on and let's go get it.
Yep. So yeah, I mean that's the thing. We need to go out and win Thursday night just to regain our confidence and prove that Sunday was a fluke. It's not who this team is. Shut up the doubters, the ESAT Nation people, the national media who were just, like you said, were just waiting to jump on us for when we played a bad game. Go out there on national television and make a statement
back on the right track.
Make a statement that said, yes, the Vikings are for real. And the only other thing I have to say about the key that we need to do is, for God's sakes, don't let Judon do what Micah Parsons did to us.
Exactly. Get that. I don't care if you have to throw another lineman in there and have a big set.
Yeah.
To get him taken out of the game.
Yeah. Line your tight end up over there so he
so he's not
chip on him before he goes out into the pattern, or use CJ Ham if you have to. I don't care, but and for O'Connell, you have to be ready to adjust on this stuff. If Kirk is under pressure, quit calling these 5 and 7 step drops. 3-step drop, boom, ball out. If we got to dink and dunk our way down the field, that's fine. New England's not going to put up a ton of points. So, I mean, if we get into the low to mid 20s, we're probably going to win this game. Although with Donishell, who knows, but
right.
I'm not going to spend any more time this week griping on him because there's a lot we can unpack on that, but we'll save that for whenever our season ends. But yeah, let's go out, prove that last weekend was a fluke, and reestablish ourselves as one of those true contenders in the NFC.
Right. Continue to do what we had been doing up until last weekend.
Right. All right, you got anything else?
No, I don't.
Okay. So with that, then we have once again reached the best segment of our show, as this week we take a look at those who have worn the number 86 in this week's edition of Brunswick's Best. So who you got this week, Lance?
I got one shout out / honorable mention. He didn't do much in his time here as a Viking, but what matters most is what he did in his time after being a Viking. He went on to have a great coaching career, has had some head coaching experience in the league, and that is none other than Mike Malarkey. So he definitely gets a shout out.
I was going to say if you didn't at least put him on the list, it was going to be a load of malarkey. So
exactly. But really, in all honesty, there's literally only one player that's worn the number 86 for the Vikings that has done anything of any consequence. And that man is wide receiver Jake Reed. Reed was a third-round selection of the Vikings out of Grambling in the 1991 NFL Draft. He had just 11 receptions in his first 3 seasons, including 0 in a rookie season that saw him suit up for just 1 game. But he exploded onto the scene in 1994. That was the first of his 4 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons, and he and Chris Carter became the first wide receiver duo to reach that mark in 4 consecutive seasons. Now, in those 4 seasons, he averaged exactly 1,200 yards a season and found the end zone 26 times. He probably would have continued along the same track, but as we all know, in 1998, the Vikings drafted a fellow by the name of Randy Moss, who pushed Reed down to the number 3 spot, and Carter, Moss, and Reed formed the famed 3 deep in 1998. With older than dirt Randall Cunningham at quarterback, but still able to throw that ball down the field. But in the 2 seasons after the Vikings drafted Moss, Reed had a total of just 1,117 yards and 10 touchdowns, which is a pretty good number for a number 3 receiver.
Yeah.
As far as touchdowns goes. Now, Reed left the Vikings in 2000, but then returned a year later in 2001. He was out of the league following the 2002 season. His final numbers for the Vikings totaled 413 receptions for 6,433 yards and 33 touchdowns. Jake Reed, this week you own the list.
All right. So with that, that's all we have for you guys this week. I want to thank everybody again for watching. If you're out traveling here in these few days, take us along with you, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on the audio casts. Again, Thursday morning, at some point in time, we will have the show also up on our Facebook page. I do not know if I will be doing the live break-ins for this game or not, depending upon how the travel situation. If I get home in time, I'll do it. So keep an eye out for it, I guess, but I can't guarantee anything.
We'll let you know on the page.
Yep. But again, if you have not done so yet, please hit that red subscribe button down below there. Helps us out a ton. Helps us build the VU brand. We're working hard on it to bring more and more stuff for you guys. Already got a few things lined up for some of the off-season shows. I've had a couple of people contact me on some good stories that we're going to be bringing you guys in the future. But hopefully we have a Super Bowl to talk about before that. But with that, I want to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, everybody who's been with us for the last year and a half plus. We couldn't do this without you guys. And with that, why don't you take us out of here, Lance?
86. Man, getting old. But for real, guys, keep your heads up. Keep your chins up. Let's get back to winning some games. Ride the roller coaster, ride the snake. It's been a while. I haven't whipped that one out in a while.
That's what she said.
But
had to get that in.
Right. You win some, you lose some. Hopefully you win some more than you lose. So let's just go do that, and let's make this postseason, and so we'll get that Lombardi. Keep it in your brains, players. With that being said, we'll see you next week. Hopefully after a win.
Yeah. Again, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.